Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We have a full-packed show with two amazing guests, voice actor Xavier Paul Cando, and we have Nolan Starr, a rising singer, hip-hop artist here in Atlanta. So definitely hear their stories. I'm Andre all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, our official website is StephenKnightShow.com. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and continue to comment and let us know what you think about what we discuss. Now, this week, it's not today, but this week is Veterans. We have Veterans Day coming up this week. So we want to shout out all of our vets and all those that keep us safe and protect us, and so we can live everyday lives. So we thank you all for your service and get your free food if you qualify for it that day. I want to tell a quick story before we start the show. Now, Chike and Adam both know this about me because they've seen me in the last month. But I have been limping for 6 weeks maybe now. And I was told that I had gout. And gout is usually associated with older people, and me thinking I had it, that I found out people who my age or younger who have it as well. So, it started on my right foot, very swollen, extremely painful, like you put a sheet across your foot, painful. And so I went to a doctor and he looked at it, that's definitely gout. And so he prescribed me medication. I took some over-the-counter stuff that I got on Amazon, some natural things, and nothing really seemed to work. There'd be days that it got better, but nothing really seemed to cure it. So finally, it's starting to get better. And then my left foot swells up and is extreme pain. So literally last Tuesday, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk on Wednesday either. And I have very steep stairs in my house. So imagine that. Well, finally Thursday, I found this podiatrist in my area, literally down the street. So I reached out to them. I never heard back. Then I remember we had this teledoc service through my company, my job that I worked for. So I reached out to them and they connected with this doctor, this woman. I wish I knew her name to shout her out. I told her my whole story, went through the spill, and she said, I'm not convinced you have gout. I'm like, what? And she said, well, one, you've never been tested for gout. Did get tested 3 years ago because I had something similar, but it came back negative. She said, but you haven't got tested for it recently. And one of the medications you take now, a side effect is it increasing uric acid, which causes gout. So do you know, I stopped taking it back. I did my research that night. Everything she said was right. I emailed my doctor that night. Next day, she switched my medication. And guess what? I can walk. I can run. I can jump.
Ow.
So get a second or third
Praise the Lord.
opinion. Get a second or third opinion. And the thing was, I hate surveys. I hate giving feedback, but I had purposely went on that service and shouted her out because it was so debilitating, where it was affecting me going into the office, affecting me going to the gym, and I would go and I'd be in so much pain, but now we're good. So shout out to that doctor. I'm gonna find her name, shout her out.
It always pays. There's a lesson in there. It always pays to get a second opinion.
That's what I said.
It always pays.
Absolutely. But I just wanted to encourage them to get a second opinion because that really did change my life. So how's my family doing? Everybody doing good?
Yes, we are.
Good.
We all right.
I mean, we sharing. I got a colonic yesterday.
We should stay healthy. Well, listen, our question of the day is, and this is in light of everything that happened with the Travis Scott recent festival he had, and we'll talk about that later on, but do large crowds bother you, Lynia?
Absolutely, positively, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I hate people. I love y'all, but I hate people.
Right.
Don't like large crowds at all.
Yeah. What about you, Chike?
Absolutely, yes. There used to be an event that happened in Philadelphia, and they no longer have it, called the Greek Picnic. And the Greek Picnic was something to behold. It was the fraternities and sororities from the African American schools, it's definitely all Black, would gather and they would have a festival in the park here, and it went on for 2 day or weekend basically.
They had one here too.
And it used to be sheer pandemonium. And I actually went to one. Oh, I went to a couple, but this was my second one. And I got caught in a stampede. From that moment on, I was like, I can't do that because you have no control. You have to go wherever the crowd takes you.
That's true.
Wherever that may be.
That's true. What about you, Nayyir?
Yeah, no, not in general, but some large crowds with my folks in certain places, yeah, they do. They do, you know, if I'm being honest, some large crowds with my folks, depending on where these large crowds are, you know. Growing up, is the Hoko football game. That wasn't a large crowd I was fond of, but I was in it, you know. But in general, nah.
Yeah. I don't, you know, with some of its mass killings and shootings, and you know, like even when I went to the movies, you know, right outside after the you know, as the pandemic started to slow down a little bit, things are opening back up. I'm looking for the exit, you know, because what can you do? I just saw a video actually before we were filming here that there was this they were in church, and this guy walks into on stairs, goes on the pulpit like he was gonna testify, pulls out a gun. This is a black church, black guy. And thankfully, the pastor was able to sneak around behind him and tackle him into the audience. And then they took care of him. But it's like, you can't even go to church, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. Well, tweet us at home and let us know, do large crowds bother you? Stephen Knight Show, SHO. All right, so speaking of this, last Friday, 8 people were killed and several injured during, well, actually hundreds now, injured during a crowd surge at Travis Scott's 3rd annual AstroWorld Festival. Now, Travis has since taken to Twitter. He said, "I'm absolutely devastated by what took place. Our prayers go out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at AstroWorld Festival. He said, Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look into this tragic loss of life. Expressing his comments to his home city, he said, I'm committed to working together with the Houston community to heal and support the families in need. Thanks to Houston PD, fire departments, NRG Park for their support." And he ended by saying, "I love y'all." Now, if you remember, he took the stage around 9 o'clock. About 9:15, the crowd started moving towards the front of the stage. Where people moved closer, multiple individuals started passing out because they couldn't breathe, according to the authorities. The crowd began to compress towards the front of the stage. People began to panic. At least 24 were taken to the hospital, and some of them are still there. 11 were reported as CPR in progress. And then, you know, one of the youngest that was injured was 10. One of the youngest that were killed was 13. I think it was 13 and 14-year-old, they were killed. And so the problem here is that Travis Scott has been arrested twice for inciting these kind of activities at his concerts before. They didn't say he didn't do it here, but then they're also concerned on why. I think it was like 9:38. It was the concert was deemed a state of emergency, but he didn't stop performing until 10 something. He did stop at one point because he saw someone pass out, and he said, you know, get him some help. But the officials say that one of the reasons why they continued to perform is because it could have caused a riot or something if they stopped the show. So he's devastated. The lawsuits have already started pouring in. I also read that they're even suing Drake because he brought Drake out on stage at one point. But he also has agreed to pay for all of the funerals for people who were killed. And he has partnered with a mental health online service for the people involved that need that kind of support. Nayyir, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Travis Scott should be held liable, or who should be held liable, if not?
That's a tough one. He's been arrested for what he's been arrested for. If he is, he's not the only one. It's definitely the organizers. Safety is a big deal when it comes to these types of events, public events where masses of crowds are going to be gathering. So whoever's responsible for the safety of these types of events, I'd imagine we'd look at them first. Travis, of course, he's the headliner. He's a part of this. This is his thing. But safety is a large deal. It's a big deal. So it's something that always should be considered when you have lots of people in a place, as far as having medical measures ready to go, water, ventilation, especially considering what we're going through now. Those are the people I would start with at the very least. But yeah, he's definitely probably going to play some part in it. Some part. I don't know what part, but some part in it. It's unfortunate. Again, sympathies to the families and all the victims, but he's probably got a small part to play in it.
Yeah. And Lynia, they said 50,000 people were at this concert. The sheriff actually spoke to Travis Scott and the promoters right before he hit the stage, concerned about crowd control. What are your thoughts on this?
So there's definitely a lot to unpack with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And based off of information that's coming out, he had been encouraging people to bum rush frontwards.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that he's done before. He's been in trouble before for it. He had told, it was something also in regards to blocking the ambulance. Like, the ambulance is swarmed by these people. It can't even get through.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and the guard who was injected with something during that time, injected in his neck with a needle during all of this. And I think the thing that bothers me more, and I feel sorry for the people who lost their lives. The thing that bothers me more is People magazine and the headline that they put up. They had a picture of Kylie Jenner, and it says, Kylie Jenner is unharmed at Travis Scott melee in Houston. What?
All right.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And they knew they were wrong because they took it down.
Mm-hmm.
All those people, matter of fact, this is when you just knew it was 8 people who lost their lives. That was the headline that you wanted to leave with, that this woman who can give 2 shits about them people, was that her and her unborn child were okay. That's the thing that's bothering me about this whole situation.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I mean, can they hold him liable? I mean, not that he has some control over the crowd, but I just don't know. This is one of the reasons why I don't like big crowds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have any control. And, and Chike and I we've been to Made in America, not necessarily a comfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to aim to get up out of Dodge before it's really time to go. We don't try to be in the midst of, of the pandemonium. We try to, be where we are, but I can't even imagine. Can you imagine you sending your child to a concert and your child don't make it home?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I saw the video of them once, like Chike said, once the crowd starts going, you're stepping on. It was like out of a movie. People just stepping on each other because they're trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with that? I don't know what to do with that. I feel so sorry. Not for Kylie Jenner, not for Travis Scott. I feel sorry for the people who lost their lives and their families.
Absolutely. And Chike, Lynia was talking about, imagine, sending your child to this concert and not coming back. This one father, he was told his child made it alive, and it wasn't until he saw online that his child was killed. Now, there was also, fans were coming to, the people that work in the stage, they were coming on side saying, hey, someone has died in this audience, someone's died, you need to stop the show, and they were ignored. Now they're saying Travis, he didn't see what was going on. He couldn't see it because so many people, he couldn't see what was actually happening. What do you think should happen to the people that they're saying, okay, someone's dead in this in this audience stopped the show and they ignored it. Should they be liable for anything?
At what point do you see a dead body and you say something to someone and then you don't step in and do something yourself? Like at what point? If you know someone's dead, why aren't you making drastic moves to bring attention to that?
Well, they were trying to. That's the thing.
I mean, but as opposed to you taking action yourself. Like me personally, if I saw that someone was deceased, I would be in the space where they were deceased, creating ruckus to get order in that space. Like at some point, you have to take action into your own hands. Maybe that's the healthcare provider inside of me, but
yeah, because these are like teenagers. You know what I mean?
But even still, like, what are you gonna do? You're standing in a space and someone's dead laying next to you. You're just gonna continue to party?
Because you took your phone out. You took your phone out. You took your phone out to record. I'm sorry, Chike.
So what's going to wind up happening, and it's unfortunate, God, bless all the families with any tragedies and injuries. God bless you, and God be with you. At some point, Travis Scott is going to be uninsurable. They're not going to insure any of his anything, so he won't be performing anywhere. Or his insurance premium for any of his events will be so astronomically high that he will not want to pay it. And the only way for him to have a concert, if he's going to have one, will be with other people, because he won't be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Or he won't be performing at all. But, they're going to come down on him because he's, and I don't want to say it like this, but it happens to be a fact. He's a Black man. He has money. But there was an insurrection inside it. No one's going to jail yet. So I'm going to leave it there.
Well, again, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. It's devastating, devastating. And hopefully this starts a conversation for other festivals like this on how to keep the crowd under control. All right, well, they're saying if you're a parent, you can relate to this story. So inmates at Oklahoma's jail said they were subject to cruel and inhumane punishment when they were forced in stress positions while listening to Baby Shark on repeat for hours, according to a lawsuit that was filed this week. Now, the suit was filed, the Catchy Children's song was just one of the torturous methods used as a discipline tactic, which also included alleged excessive force, according to the federal civil rights lawsuit. The suit filed at the Western District of Oklahoma on behalf of J. Lee Foreman Jr., Daniel Hedrick, Joseph Mitchell, and John Vasco, who were on pretrial detainees at the Oklahoma County Jail in late 2019, according to NBC News. The suit names Oklahoma City Sheriff Tommy Johnson III, the board of the county commissioners, and the jail trust, and 2 former jail officers as defendants. Defendants were accused of failing to adequately train and supervise its officers, according to the lawsuit. Also alleged that the jail officers involved had a history of mistreatment well known to supervisors, but no action was taken to stop them. Now, on November 30th, 2019, Mitchell was pulled from his jail cell, officers around 11:45 p.m. The officers then placed Mitchell into a room where he was forced into a standing stress position for 3 to 4 hours while handcuffed behind his back. The officers were then accused of playing Baby Shark on loop. Mitchell was forced to listen to the song over and over while physically restrained in the attorney visitation room. The volume of the song was so loud, it was vibrating down the hallways, based on this lawsuit. Vasco and Hedrick claimed they also were forced to stand in stress positions while listening to the song at different times in late 2019. Foreman says that he was not forced to listen to the song, but he was placed in a stress position and later was kneed in the back and slammed into the wall by one of the officers and spat on by another. The inmates posed no threat to the officers in the alleged incidents. Johnson declined comments on the litigation, and so story pending. Nayyir, Baby Shark. Why was this song? Why did they pick this song of all songs to torture these inmates?
I don't know. I haven't heard it. I know about Baby Shark, but I haven't heard the song. The song must be super
Baby
annoying.
shark, 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 something like that.
Yeah, I've never heard it. I've never heard it.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, yes, you're gonna send it. Yeah, it must be an annoying song. You know, it must
It
be
is.
super. Yeah, super
It
annoying.
is.
So that was probably fitting. But I mean, I think it's funny. I think that's funny. I think it's hilarious.
Lynia, what's gonna happen here?
I'm sorry. Listen, look here, listen. I don't even have little kids, and that damn song is catchy. Now, to have to listen to it at a high level and in a stressful standing position, I don't know, that might cause some sort of PTSD. It may, but I've sauntered around my apartment and caught myself a couple times singing Baby Shark, and I don't have no small babies. So, I mean, I guess after a certain amount of time, you can definitely consider that cruel and humane punishment to hear Baby Shark on loop, repeat as you are in a stressful standing, whatever stressful standing position is. I don't know what that is outside of when I'm working out, but I don't know what that would be. And obviously they waited till they got out of jail to file this lawsuit so they wouldn't get beat up anymore. It's not funny. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pray for y'all. If y'all get a little bit of cash, y'all can slide to Stephen Knight, show some money, so we can do some marketing. Yeah, I mean, like help us out.
Now, Chike, this is not the first song that has been banned. I'm not saying this song has been banned yet, but I recently read that there's a restaurant in Dallas that will not play Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" this year. They won't allow to play it. And then back in the 90s, when Whitney Houston released "I'll Always Love You," this neighbor sued their neighbor for playing it on repeat, said that she was torturing them. So what do you think about this and Baby Shark?
They're gonna have some man at some point grabbing his widescreen television and throwing it through a wall because he snapped back into his punishment from hearing that song. It's gonna be a trigger.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a trigger. And then, but we have to remember that this moment happened and that man is really innocent. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. He didn't really mean to do that. He was set up.
Right. Well, guys, we'll take a quick break. We come back. Will Smith talking more about his marriage and his new memoir. Right back after this.